The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Critshow, where we are playing The Clockwinders. Last time...
Hi, Jake.
Oh, my God. Hi.
Hi.
I'm sizing up. No, everybody else is pretty far from their microphone.
Yeah.
Well, now Rev's back on it. Last time, our heroes had thwarted the ether magicians and earned themselves passage. Well, I guess that's sort of a weird way to put it, but they'd made it to the forge, to the grounds of the forge. Einon patched up Vaughn, went to investigate what horrors Vaughn had unleashed because he was covered in blood, found that Radigan was mortally wounded, and managed to get him back to town to receive medical care. Meanwhile, Maxine and Kade had briefly investigated the grounds in front of the entrance to the forges, made their way inside, and encountered the infamous salamanders that guard the halls. But they managed to communicate successfully, make friends, question mark, with at least one of them, and acquire it as a guide of sorts who started leading them into the depths of the forge.
Yeah, they were certainly at least hissing on our behalf.
That's a dope name for a mixtape.
Ooh, yeah.
Hissing on our behalf. So, where do we want to pick up? Which one of you?
Can I ask a question real quick?
I guess.
Where are we going to start?
I can barely stop you. So someone asked this question on our Discord, and I read it. My brain went, well, yeah, of course. And I realized that they were asking a question about a truth that I was assuming that may not be how you're perceiving the world. And I was like, I should ask this question so that I make sure I understand the world as it works. Do ether cores generate electricity, or is everything literally running off of magic? In my head, like ether cores, they're moving. They're the way we always talk about, other power sources. I assume that they were generating the electricity that makes things run, but everything might just run on actual magic.
Yeah, no, they are not generating electricity. They kind of are electricity.
Okay.
It is like its own power source. During our session 0, when we were talking about some of the rules of the world, I guess I don't remember if this made it to the microphone, but I had clarified this with the creator before we started. Like, hey, are there mechanical things that aren't powered by ether? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
Like everything that runs in some capacity runs on ether, and it is like electricity. It is the force that is powering things.
Okay. Yeah, in my head, because we call them movement cores, and so like a wind turbine or whatever, I thought, oh, the magic is moving this thing.
Yeah, like ether is the wind of the wind turbine, and then it's putting out electricity, is what you were thinking.
Yeah, but it is not. It is a additional actual source of power.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think other than lightning, I don't know that electricity as a concept even really exists in this world. It's just, that's not the thing that powers stuff. Ether is.
Okay.
Good to know.
So let's jump back in with Einon. Einon, you had dropped Radigan off, gotten him settled, and turned to head back through the woods to rejoin your compatriots. Are you moving at maximum hustle here? What is your modus operandi as you go along?
Yeah, I'm sort of terrified for their safety, so I am just full tilt.
Okay. And are you following the same path that you followed before? You trying to carve anything new?
I think I'm doing same path because I know the steps.
Okay. So, as you are booking it back along this path, you get about a third of the way when a fox darts out of the trees into the middle of the path. And it is at such a distance that, like, you know, you're not tripping over it instantly. You would expect it to jump out here, see that somebody's barreling at it, and run, but it doesn't. It jumps out of the path, and it plants itself in the middle, facing your direction.
I find this very odd behavior, so I think I do stop. I think I just kind of stutter step and slow down and like pause and look at it, and I just want to see if it's, aside from not moving, doing anything else unusual.
Yeah, it sits there looking up at you, very still, very calm. I think you notice right off the bat that at first it looks like it's wearing like a collar, but you realize that it is not fabric or anything. It's not like a leather. It looks like maybe a piece of vine or something that seems to have some bark attached to it. Like it's like a piece of vine that seems to have ribbon of bark attached to it that is almost like spooled up like a little scroll.
Oh. Would I have seen anything like this before? Like, in my mind, this seems Fae adjacent. Like, is this something I've seen out in hunting and experiencing the Fae folk, of like them using animals as little messengers, or even like Wizine? Like, would I think this is one of the Fae folk?
Why don't you roll to overcome with lore? And I think you're trying to beat a 2.
Okay. Easy. 6.
All right. That is a success with style. So you will get your information and you gain a boost.
Awesome.
So I think that what you know right off the top of your head is, yeah, it's not at all uncommon, even for humans, to use animals as messengers. You know, like people can train something up and teach it a route and send a message with it. That's also not uncommon for Fae, like you're saying. In fact, they tend to have a bit more of a connection with wildlife, or with like fellow Fae creatures. So there tends to be a little bit more variety in what they can do. I think the part that jumps out to you as odd about this is the demeanor of this fox. Like, as you're observing it, it is more than just like a well-trained pet who has been taught to sit here and hold still. You can like pick up an attitude off of it. This sort of like comfortable, like laissez-faire, like it's not like a statue waiting for you to interact with it the way it's supposed to be interacted with. Like its tail's kind of lolling, you know, it's kind of considering you as you're considering it. There seems to be like almost a heart to this fox that is beyond what you would expect from that creature and beyond what you would think the parameters of being able to train one would be.
Okay. God, I don't think I can stop a little smirk, and I'll take off my hat and give this fox a little bow. Good evening.
Yeah, it like gets back on all fours and like stretches its front legs out very far as if to reciprocate your bow. And you can see more clearly that coil of bark that is wrapped up around its collar. It almost seems like it is presenting that to you.
Is that for me then? And I'll slowly approach and crouch down.
Yeah, it has no adverse reaction.
My name's Einon. I have a feeling you know that somehow. And I'll reach out to take this bark.
Okay. You grab that piece of bark, and as you pull it free, the vine that was wrapped around its neck that was holding that in place also kind of like falls away. You know, the bark was like part of the mechanism holding that in place. And the fox kind of casually shakes its head, you know, like ruffling back up the fur around its neck here, and then gives you one more look and starts to bound into the forest.
Well, all right. Easy come, easy go. Have a lovely evening. And I'll take a look at what I'm holding here.
Yeah, you unspool this length of bark, and it unfolds very smoothly. You know, it's pretty thin. It's like a piece of paper. And there are words almost etched into it, but they look like if you carved something into a tree and then gave it 30 years. Like, this doesn't look like it was written, and it doesn't look like it's freshly carved out of this. It looks like it was grown this way, almost.
Whoa.
Cool.
And the message says, "He who saved the old tree from felling must now untangle its roots."
Very interesting. I am just terrible at riddles. Gosh, is there anything I can roll about this that sticks out as some sort of lore or knowledge, or is it a riddle as opposed to just a metaphor for something?
Yeah, I think this could be another overcome with lore. I think to unspool the mystery of what this means, you're probably trying to be at a 3.
Okay.
Especially since you've now established that you're bad at riddles. So wonderful. Thank you.
That is, wow, math just escaped me. 5.
Okay. So I think that as you are thinking over the idea of saving an old tree from felling, I think the thing that jumps to mind immediately is that you just saved Radigan's life. That he is an elder figure. He was on death's door, and you made sure that he survived. It seems like this is referring to the fact that you have saved Radigan, and if he is the tree, then there is now something you need to untangle about his roots, so to speak.
Okay. I'm just, starting to pick up the pace again. I think I'm still just staring at this as I'm running and, just making slight glances up at the path to keep myself safe, right, all right. I don't think that's something I can wrap my head around in this exact instant, but that is an interesting warning? Suggestion? What on earth?
As you are, walking, starting to pick up the pace, glancing from the note to the path, before you know it, you don't know where you are. A fog, a mist has started to creep in around you, and in the moments that you were looking at the note, it's like it thickened profoundly in between glances at the path, until, by your third glance up, you are just surrounded by this impenetrable mist.
I stop, I look around and set my jaw and roll up that little bark scroll again and pocket it. All right, I'm getting a lot of suggestions from you, nature, and I'm not sure if this is me stumbling into silliness or if you're urging me a different way. I want to just start backtracking and see if this fog keeps up or if I'm heading back towards town if it, dissipates.
Okay, you start backtracking along the path?
Yeah.
Okay, you start backtracking, and it's meticulous to, even spot the path at your feet and continue to follow it. And as you go, the fog does not seem to let up whatsoever. In fact, I think that, after a few minutes of this, at some point you're pretty sure I passed that leaf before.
Damn. Nope, it's all right. This is fine. I know generally where I am. Someone knows something that I don't. There's no reason for frustration, and there's immense need for curiosity in this moment. I think I just sort of spin around a couple of times, just not looking for a path, not looking for, less or more as far as the fog. I just want to go with my instinct on a direction here. I just want to kind of Gandalf this and go which way, smells the freshest, so to speak.
Okay. You tell me, what do you settle on?
I don't know. I feel like if I get a gauge of where the fog is the thickest, that's going to hold more curiosities, and that's the way I'm inclined to go.
Yeah, you look around for a moment, and you settle on this area where you feel that the fog is the thickest, and it is leading you off the path and into the woods. And you feel that that is where curiosity lies. And so as you start to step in that direction, the fog thins a bit about you, as if granting you this direction and encouraging you to proceed.
And so I will.
Let's jump back to Maxine and Kade. So you are following this big yoked salamander deeper into the forges. Again, this is a large entry hall full of columns, full of the remains of booths and carts where artisans were allowed to display their wares once upon a time. The meat of the forges seems like it is further back here through some antechambers, maybe deeper within Kadvini, and the salamander seems to be leading you that direction. Is there anything you want to do while following before you get any further in or anything?
I really think I'm just taking in the aesthetics of everything, knowing that not a lot of people who aren't salamanders have been in here for a really long time, but also that conversation that we had about the fact that there might be things here that are indicators of what the movement cores originally were for, that maybe we just kind of brushed off at the last locations we were at.
Yeah, and I think I'm just taking in anything else that's working. Like, are there other things in here that seem to be doing something?
Okay, I like those. So, as you two are observing and moving, Kade, you're not noticing anything like mechanical thus far. Seems like this chamber, what's on the surface, it's not like the functional parts of the forges or anything. But let's keep this in mind as you continue on.
Okay.
So this large chamber starts to taper inwards, sort of funneling into one large passageway at the far center of this room that stretches floor to ceiling. But you can see that it starts to lead downwards, deeper into the ground. And as it does, you can also tell that like the ceiling itself slopes more rapidly, such that this passageway is going to be narrower and it's going to get shorter than the room you are leaving. It seems like this is clearly just the path inwards. And the salamander reaches that threshold and just kind of looks back over its shoulder to verify that you two are still with it, and then begins to descend. What you do notice, even as this gets smaller, is that the level of craftsmanship does not wane. The fine carving, the fine stonework of that entry hall persists, even in just this little, what seems like a utilitarian passageway leading further down. The other thing you notice is that the temperature feels like it is starting to rise as you get further below ground, rather than getting cooler. This is just a sloped path as opposed to a stairwell. It is just a smooth path down. I just had the thought of picturing what it might look like if a salamander were going downstairs, and that's funny to me, so never mind, it's stairs.
Does it go downstairs like a slinky?
So it goes downstairs just like thump, 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 like when you're butt scooting downstairs.
It just crawls. It just crawls along the wall.
Ooh.
But then why are there stairs?
So the salamander thunks its way down the stairs ahead of you. And at the bottom of the stairs, you can see a source of light from the chamber beyond that seems different than the torch lights up above. It seems to be like a little bit dimmer and a little bit more shifting. And again, like the temperature is getting higher and higher until the salamander comes out the bottom of the stairwell and you two follow. And what you are looking at is a large, long chamber that extends out and away from you. You step out onto stone floors, which are intercut with bands of flowing lava. There are safe places to stand. There is, again, this ornate stonework. There is a bridge that extends over the lava across part of this room. And on the far wall, there is a door that is closed. It is similar to the front doors to the forges. It is a large stone carved door, next to which there is what looks like a brazier. And right next to you entering this room, there is actually another brazier. The one on your side is lit. The one on the far side is not.
Oh boy, I didn't expect there to be like lava down here. I imagined there were forges, but they had to be lit.
It's hot down here.
It's so warm.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Let's go back.
You know, just never mind. This one's probably fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mechanically, this is an environmental aspect. Molten currents beneath the floor.
Mm.
Cool. I look at the salamander. Is he giving any indication of what we should be doing?
He's like nodding his head over the side.
He's pointing to one brazier and then pointing to the other one and doing charades.
Yeah, I mean, he does kind of post up near the lit brazier on your side. But again, your guys' communication is like pretty simplistic. It doesn't seem like he intends to like take a crack at it on his own unless you start charadesing at him first.
Mm.
Well, it seems like the other set of doors is our way forward.
I'll start moving towards the bridge and kind of like glance at the salamander. Like, is this cool? Is this okay? I'll just kind of like mime. Like, do you mind if I walk over there?
He gives a nod.
Okay, I'll hurry over the bridge and go look at the other set of doors.
Okay. You are able to cross the bridge and walk across the rest of this stone-carved floor without issue. The heat is, like, overwhelming the closer you get to these lava flows, but you manage to walk across towards the other door.
Oh, that's really, really warm when you go over the bridge. Just be aware of that. Okay, Door. It's a door.
Are there handles to the door?
Glowing red metal handles.
No, there are no handles on this door.
Does it say push or pull anywhere on the door?
It says something in Elven. No, that's not true. Yeah, there are no words. It is ornate, it is beautiful, but it otherwise seems like there's no way to make it function.
Okay.
Well, the door doesn't just push open, and I didn't really expect it to, but I thought we should probably check that first before trying to solve anything else, just in case it was that easy.
Try to light the brazier. And I'm like looking at the one that's lit, and I'm trying to see if there's anything like push on it. Is it connected to the ground or does it move?
Okay, Kade, why don't you roll to overcome with investigate? Trying to beat a 3.
3.
Okay, so you fiddle with this brazier on your side, and yes, it is very firmly connected to the ground. You notice that there is an unlit torch and a wall sconce above the brazier, and as the mechanist, you notice a couple of additional things that might escape someone else's notice.
Mm-hmm.
One, you see that there is something around that wall sconce. It's like it is mounted to a panel of some sort, like something that could move or withdraw. And you also notice a small groove in the stonework along the wall, like the brazier on your side and the brazier on the other side are on or nearest, that at a glance kind of just looks like the carving of the stonework, but you realize it's like something like a channel that it looks like something would move through or flow through.
Oh. Yeah, I'll try to like slide that panel over to see if I'll just instead of explaining what I think might happen, I'll just try to slide the panel over.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of like wiggle at that sconce. It doesn't seem like it moves laterally or anything. And even like pulling on it, it doesn't seem like it comes out. You give it a little bit of a push, and it seems like there is the capacity for it to go back into the wall, but like it's not doing that at a touch.
Okay. I will push it harder.
It does not get.
Oh, I see. Does the torch come out?
Yeah, you can remove the torch from the sconce.
I will take the torch out and put it in the brazier.
Okay. You light the torch. Maxine, are you still on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kade, you see right as you light that torch, a little bit of green energy starts to move through that channel. It looks like what you recognize to be ether. And it starts to just kind of creep along that channel. Creep isn't even the right word. It is not moving at an insignificant speed, but it is moving from your brazier towards the other brazier.
Looking across where Maxine is there another torch on the wall?
No, there is not. There is just that other unlit brazier by that door. But while you're looking over towards Maxine, Maxine, you see Kade light this torch, and you hear something like a hissing under the floor and in the walls. Not like
when you say hissing, is it snake hissing or like steam hissing?
More like a steam hissing.
Okay.
Not like salamander hissing.
Okay,
or snake
cool.
hissing.
It sounded like you said snake kissing.
That's what I heard,
That's
too.
very cute. There's just snakes making out in all the walls.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to put my hand to the ground. Does it feel like this steam is building somewhere that something might be being made unstable? Or does it feel or sound like something is starting up?
I think this is going to be an overcome. I think this is actually going to be with notice for reasons that may become apparent momentarily. Try to beat a 3.
That is the best I have ever rolled. 7. I got all pluses.
Hell yeah.
So you will gain a boost off of this. As you get down, like put your hand to the ground, you're trying to gauge what exactly is about to happen here. You notice some small holes in the floor, like one near where you put your hand. You glance around quickly. You notice a handful more. You notice that there are some in the walls. And you realize that in a moment, gouts of flame are about to start shooting out of these.
Oh no. I want to run for the bridge.
Okay. Kade, you see Maxine like quickly take in the scenario, and then she starts to fucking book it for the bridge. And like the moment her foot leaves one of these like stone tiles, you see just a shaft of flame shoot up out of the floor behind her that she has narrowly avoided.
Oh, God.
It's fire! It's fire! There's holes in the wall and the floor! There's fire everywhere!
I lit the thing, and there's magic coursing through it. I don't know if I should have said something first.
Is there anything that you would like to do as she starts to run in your direction?
Can I see how or if these things are correlated? Like this magic is traveling towards her, but it seems like the fire is moving the opposite direction, right? Am
Yes.
I picturing that correctly?
Yeah, no, you are correct.
Okay.
Like this first gout of flame was where she was, and where she was the opposite end of the room from where this started.
Yeah.
That is all true. I don't think I'm going to make you roll for this one. I think both going off of your prior roll and, again, you are the mechanist, you can put 2 and 2 together. It just seems like you triggered a process that has defense mechanisms. So it is just based on the fact that that's where she was in the room, that's where a defense mechanism activated.
Mm. And does it seem like I'm going to take a step towards her? Like my thought is that as the magic travels along, is that area safe now? Or do I step out there and it's like, no, gouts of fire?
Looking around, you can see that you have a little bit of a safe buffer zone around this brazier. But you see, like, again, kind of like looking for, like, what the hell, where is that coming from? You see similar holes in the floor and the walls on your side that you're guessing is what she's dealing with over there.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't look like... I get how you want to go far enough that you think you might trigger one of them?
I think I have to.
Okay. I think give me an overcome with athletics. I think because you know what you're expecting and you're moving cautiously and you're just kind of trying to test it, we'll call it a 2.
Great. -2.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. I've got Maxine's back, so I'm going to try to re-roll that because that was a very bad roll.
Okay.
You could also spend a fate point to bump it up to and then use that boost that I just got
Oh, that's true.
to at least get there even.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, so spending 1 fate point to bump it up and then using the boost to bump it up again, getting you to a tie.
Yeah.
What do you call in this boost that you are able to utilize it here?
It is called, you got this for...
Noticing the holes
Noticing
in
the holes, yeah.
ground.
It's like called similar pattern, that like the holes that she saw and called out are the same laid out here.
Okay. So I think you're going to get this at a minor cost, which is, I think, just 1 physical stress.
Mm-hmm.
You step near one of these holes, and indeed a pillar of flame shoots up out of it, and you just didn't space it out quite how you wanted to. You get a little bit of singe. Like half of one of your eyebrows is gone. So yeah, take that little bit of harm, but you do see that, like, it seems that is independent of where the progress in that channel is. Just this room is going to try to prevent you from crossing it while that mechanism is active.
Okay, I'm going to take panicked because I've just started a fire trap that Maxine is in the middle of.
Okay.
As I'm running, are the jets of flame, like, following me where I step?
Yes, they are, and I'm trying to determine how to resolve you starting on the wrong side and getting back. Because I had thoughts about what sort of a challenge this might be going one way.
Yeah, and I mean, my thought process is if this fire is shooting up through here, it's some sort of, like, pressurized system, so it makes sense for it to be on the ground. I'm hoping that these holes are not in the bridge. So I'm thinking that since the bridge is over lava, that's some sort of, like, safe space, even though it is very much in the middle of 2 not safe spaces. But I have no way to know that that's true. So that's just kind of, like, my goal right now is, like, oh no, gotta get off the floor. The floor is lava.
While you contemplate that, can we cut quickly to the salamander's face to see what he thinks of all this?
We cannot. What we can cut briefly to is the ads.
Hmm.
Kade, to answer your question, you look at the salamander, and he does seem to have a little bit of a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth as he watches this.
Oh.
The corners of his snaky mouth.
He licks his lips and pulls out a knife and fork and puts a little napkin around his neck.
Oh, God. The little bib has a picture of Maxine on it.
He starts prodding you back towards the fire with the end of his pole arm. Go and get in there.
Get crispy.
You're not done yet.
He could talk this whole time.
Yeah.
Maxine, I think I'm going to need another notice roll from you as you are rushing back towards the bridge. And this one's a little more difficult. I think you're trying to beat a 4.
That's a 4. Can I spend a fate point to invoke magic is unpredictable and strong? Like, the fact that this isn't just, like, set up in a way to do this through like science, I guess. Like the fact that ether is involved, there's that extra layer of fear that like this could go hella wrong, hella quick. And like I'm just trying to get to safety as fast as I can.
Okay. You talked me there. You pulled a reverse Tass. You talked long enough that I bought it. So that's a 6, which is a success.
Yes.
So as you rush towards the bridge, trusting that there aren't holes in the bridge that are going to fire at you. That was a dumb way to say that.
Hold on. I have a question.
Okay.
Is the bridge just like a footpath, or does it have like walls or sides?
It has sides. I mean, like waist high. It's like a stone. Picture a nice bridge over a stream, like a stone.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was picturing. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't wrongly assuming.
Okay. Are the hands? I'm doing hands. I'm doing an angle with my hands.
Making rainbow hands.
It's arcing. Does this bridge arc?
Yeah, it is like a
Babbling brook, but instead of babbling brook, it's babbling lava.
It's lava brook.
I
Yeah.
was picturing like the bridge in Bowser's Castle.
Bridge over troubled lava.
Thank you. Yeah, no, there is like a bit of an arc to it.
Okay.
As if over a stream. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm trying to get to the bridge, and then like I'll even like throw my belly on the side wall, like try and get my feet up off the ground.
Okay, so let me tie that back into the roll you just made.
Okay.
Stop trying to change stuff after you
I'm
make
sorry.
the roll.
It's just that's what I was thinking, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to say that if it's not true.
No, that's wise. And you might have gotten away without having to make a roll if you'd said that in advance.
If it weren't for those meddling kids.
Because what you notice as you're running towards the bridge is, indeed, there are no holes in the floor through which lava can spout. Or not lava. It's just fire. It's not actual lava shooting up. But you do notice something peculiar about some of these stones that make up the walking part of this bridge, as if they could separate themselves from the rest of the bridge. As if you could take a misstep and your foot could plunge through this bridge because the stone you stepped on no longer wants to be there. But you instead toss yourself belly first onto the arm of the bridge, and you're okay. The gouts of flame stop shooting up behind you. You're not standing on the bridge itself, so nothing falls off of it. It seems like by grinding the rail here, you are for the moment in safe territory.
I'm like belly on the side wall of this and like holding on to either side to like stabilize myself. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, is there fire there too?
Yeah. That's the whole sentence. I wanted to say something that would also comfort you, but there's fire here too. But not if you get to where I am.
I don't think I can. There's stones on the bridge that if I step on them, I'm just going to fall right through into the lava.
Jehovah begins with an I.
Damn it.
Your noses start bleeding.
Looking at the bridge, where's the magic meter? How far is it gone?
It is a little over halfway across the room.
Okay. Should you wait there until the process is done? Are you safe? Are you okay?
What process?
When I lit the torch, magic started to flow towards you from in a little pipe kind of thing.
Oh, is that where that came from? I thought there was maybe something having to do with ether in here. Okay. How far along is the process?
And I'll point to it so she can track it on the wall.
Okay, but what if it makes it all the way and then all of the fire goes up at once?
Well,
It's about 80% of the way now.
Well, okay. Well, you just stay there and I'll stay here. And then, we'll wait it out because I don't think that there are jets here on the bridge for lava to come through, but I don't think it's safe to stand on either.
Yeah, because if listen, just stay where you're at.
It's so hot.
I know, I'm sorry. If the lava comes up, it wouldn't matter where we are anyway. And he's not running, so I assume the room doesn't fill with lava as the last step of this.
I don't know. Salamanders seem to be quite heat-proof.
Oh, that's true. He probably swims. Do you swim in this?
He's literally like his tail's kind of lolling in the lava.
Oh.
Like he's dipping his toes in a stream.
Oh, no.
He's just like, his eyes are half open. He's just like licking his lips.
He's got a handful of it like pudding, just licking
All right, so you two are just buckling down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The magic meter gets to the other side, and it hits its terminus above that brazier, and then a gust of wind, rockets through this entire room from above.
Blows Maxine into the lava.
It does not blow Maxine into the lava. It does blow out the torch that you are holding, Kade.
Oh.
And it causes the brazier on your side to like flicker, like nearly die, but it doesn't. It remains burning. And the ether within the meter kind of dissipates as if like being absorbed back into the walls, and the meter is blank.
What was that? Do we have to start over?
Oh, maybe we have to maybe that's like a timer. We got to light it and then get across before the magic does. Because it all just kind of reset, I think.
Okay, what starts the timer?
I think lighting the torch.
Okay, well, it seems to only send fire up based on where you're standing, but I was able to run and get past it. I think I can see the stones that would fall from here. I can maybe mark them with something, so as we run across, we cannot step on them.
Okay, and I'll try to study the pattern here, so once we get to the place where the fire comes up, I can point out where to shift a little bit.
Do I remember seeing a similar safe zone by the other door, or was it jets all the way down?
I think you recall that right on the threshold of the door, at the door, it was safe. And the brazier on that side is within arm's reach of the door. But there's not a DMZ around the brazier in the door like there is on the side where you start. You got to get there, you got to get your ass right on the threshold and light the brazier.
Okay, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of room for us to stand over there. We're going to have to get right up against the door.
Okay, I want to take some chalk out of my bag and just start kind of marking some of these stones that I see that are likely to fall on the bridge. And then I want to look at the other door, the far one, and figure out okay, we think we need to get the torch, light from the brazier, make it to the other side and light the other brazier before the timer runs out. But I want to see if I can pin down any other steps that we're not noticing so that we don't have to try and figure it out in the moment of oh, that didn't work. Well, now we're stuck up against this door. What do we do now?
Okay. Do both of you have points in investigate? Do both of you have at least a 1 in investigate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I think how I want to do this then is a teamwork create an advantage with investigate. So which one of you has higher investigate?
I have a +5.
Oh, that would be you.
Okay. So Maxine, why don't you roll to create an advantage with investigate, and you take a +1 from Kade's teamwork, because that's what you're also looking around for safe ways to move and stuff,
Yeah.
right, Kade? Okay. I think you are trying to beat a 4, but I feel like with a +6 to your roll, that's probably going to be fairly easy.
6.
Okay. Let's add an aspect to the situation called well scrutinized, with 1 free invoke, unless somebody wants to bump this up to a success with style, get an extra invoke out of it.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Listen here, I notice what's out of place.
Okay. Spend that fate point, and this will be a success with style. So, well scrutinized with 2 free invokes. You guys go around, you're marking where the dangers are in this room. It might occur to you that it seems like a lot of people maybe don't get a second shot at this to go back and mark the dangers. And the salamander's just kind of watching you all curiously. He's fairly stoic. He is still just kind of posted up over near the brazier towards the entrance. But yeah, he seems kind of intrigued by what you two are doing, though he doesn't seem to fully understand it. So you get the danger stones on the bridge marked. You get the fire stones on either side of the bridge marked. And Maxine, you notice in checking out the far brazier by the door you need to open, you can tell that what you need to do is light that brazier, and that will open this door. I think, though, what you can also determine through investigating is that it will turn off the danger room. So not all of you need to make it to that door simultaneously. As long as one of you gets there and lights the brazier, it's going to be safe passage for anyone who comes after. At least for as long as it's relevant to you. Presumably at some point this will reset one way or another, but it's not going to be a time crunch for you guys to get across once somebody lights the brazier.
Hey, Kade, I think if we get that lit, it'll make safe passage for everybody else easier, so we might both not have to make it all the way. If you could make it halfway to here, I could take the torch and run the rest of the way.
Actually, Maxine, I think that you know what all of you are good at and what you're not necessarily good at. I think you know that Cade's not the best at athletics, and you think maybe that he should just leave it to the pros on this one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but I'm definitely not the pro when it comes to athletics.
Yeah, but you're more the pros on this one. I'm compelling you.
Yeah.
I'm compelling your aspect.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you accept the task of handling this obstacle course on your own and earn a fate point, or do you reject it and give me a fate point?
I think I'm going to reject it and give you a fate point.
All right, fool, hand it over. Hee, shiny.
All right, I'm down to 1.
I'm waiting for Rev to be like, yeah, Kade doesn't agree to this plan either way. Fuck no, I'm not doing that. Okay, so you resist your compel. Kade, you hear Maxine pitch this solution of like meeting halfway. And I think you kind of think to yourself like, how hard could it be? Maybe you could run this on your own.
Maxine can't do anything athletic.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, beans. I almost got hit by the fire knowing it was there, just stepping out. So my impulse is to deny you and give you a fate point. But we still have to solve this problem. I'll take that.
Okay, well, here, take the one that Megan just handed me. That's for you now.
Great.
Enjoy.
All right, Kade, how are you explaining yourself? How are you explaining your decision-making? How can you justify this to Maxine?
I'm so sorry that I started this without even warning you. I think I can you just stay there, because that's a safe spot, and point at things as I'm going to go, because I'm so sorry that I started it without warning you, and you almost got caught on fire.
I mean, so did you. I've marked all of these stones if you think you can make it faster.
Yeah, I think I can, especially with you acting as my eyes.
All right, I'll do what I can.
Maxine is staying on the rail of the bridge,
Yeah.
and Kade is going to just trigger this and attempt this run.
Yeah, with my stellar athletics. But I think our athletics are the same.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. In fact, nothing.
Would be nice if someone with high athletics was helping out,
Would show up.
and if people with good mystery-solving skills were out in the forest.
This will just make us appreciate each other all the more.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Wait a minute. Could I just undo this trap?
How?
I'm a burglar. Like, I disarm traps all the time.
I mean, that sounds feasible to me. I think it might be a bit of an investment here, but
Yeah. I'm going to look at something. Maybe I should just stick in my wheelhouse.
You're gonna stick what where? Are you running or not?
Not if I can help it.
yeah, what are you poking at? Where are you going? What are you looking at?
So it seems like the brazier on the other side, has to be lit before that magic reaches. This wind comes down, it blows the torch out. That all starts when the torch is lit. My assumption would be that the other brazier can't be lit until this is running, or else that'd be a simple solution. So what I'm trying to figure out is like a I don't know, I'm trying to explain this too much.
I just need a jumping off point.
Yeah.
I just need to know like where literally physically you're beginning this process.
I see.
So that I have an idea of what you find.
On my side.
Okay.
Or on the other
Or
side.
the other one.
Oh, I thought you meant like laying down on your side. I was like, boy, I don't understand how any of this works.
I don't understand this plan at all.
Okay. Let's start with an overcome with investigate.
Okay.
I think this is going to be fairly tough.
Yeah.
I think you're going to beat a 4.
Okay.
Trying to beat a 4. I can't say that you're going to.
So I'm at a 4, but I'm the mechanist. I understand how these things work. Even if
Okay.
it's just seeing them for the first time, they speak to me.
Okay. Spin that fate point.
Or do you want to use one of the free invokes? We've got 2 of them.
And it was called well scrutinized. Like,
Yeah, I will use well scrutinized, because I think that we saw some stuff while we were looking it over that now in hindsight, it's like, oh, this would be beneficial in a way that's actually helpful to the way our brains work as opposed to our physical bodies.
yeah. Like you took this detail in, but it didn't click until you were thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
All right. So mark off one of those free invokes. That brings you to a full success. Here's what I will say. I don't want to box you in too much.
Mhm.
You can find a bypass. I just want you to tell me what it is.
Okay. So the pieces that I have speculated versus the pieces that you have told us are accurate. Tell me if this does not line up. So the idea that, yes, this torch somehow is specifically connected to this event, because that's when it, like, seemed to start.
Yep. I mean, the lighting of the torch is related to this event. I don't know that you think that this exact torch has to be the one, but it seems like when something is lit off the brazier, this starts.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, even on this investigate, I'll add a piece. The panel that the wall sconce is on, it seems like it would resupply a torch were one lost. As if, like, it's giving whoever comes into this room at least one way to get through this puzzle. It'll give you a torch. So if you pulled the torch from the wall sconce and then it fell in the lava or whatever, that panel you saw, it would withdraw and it would come back out with a fresh torch.
Then I think the way that I am, I'm treating it like a Coke machine. Like, I'm futzing with that thing till it gives me a second torch. And then I will just light that one with a flint and steel and have Maxine stand on the other side with a lit torch as I light this torch.
Okay.
Is there any reason to think that it has to be the same fire?
I don't think anything leads you to believe that thus far.
Okay.
It's worth a try. Okay, so you burgle this sconce.
Yeah. What a great sentence.
And you finagle a second torch out of it. You two get positioned on either side. You get Maxine's torch lit independent of the brazier. And Maxine, you're able to head across and stand by the other door. And again, the salamander's just kind of watching you all with like a corked head, a little bit of curiosity. As Kade, you light the torch from the brazier. You see the ether start to move through this channel. And then Maxine, you immediately light the brazier on the other side. And the ether within that channel stops. And the door rockets upwards like a portcullis, opening for you, revealing the passage beyond.
It worked!
I dance.
Oh, Arkady, you're a genius!
Thanks. It was weird to, like, try to solve a problem. Why did we try to solve a problem in the way that we're not good at solving problems?
I don't know. I just was on the bridge.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fire.
I was
It's hard
very-
to think when it's warm down here.
Yeah, I was very panicked. I almost set you on fire.
Yeah, I thought I was on fire for a moment. I'm feeling very warm. My hair is not meant for this much heat.
The salamander slithers up behind Kade, and it gives you like a congratulatory pat on the back, but it's like way stronger than you, and it kind of
Right
knocks
into the
you forward.
lava.
But it hisses something, like it clearly speaks something to you in its language, which is unintelligible to you, and starts to slither its way across the bridge.
Yeah, I will follow it.
All right, the two of you and the salamander proceed through the next door and onto the next chamber of the forges. Back in the forest, Einon, you walk through the foggy woods, and around you the mist separates and thins as if guiding you, but it seems more to be responding to whatever decision you make. Like, it's hard to tell whether you're following the mist or whether it's following you. It is almost as if you trusting your instincts is what it's asking of you as you move. And it thins out on a clearing ahead that as you step into it, you don't recognize it. Like, from the time you spent traversing through here and getting those small squads set up to go investigate, like, you did not come across this. This doesn't feel like it belongs here. It is just a clearing. It is just a glade in the woods. The trees around look like they're past their prime. They look like they are suffering a bit. But it is almost impossible to see past them out of this clearing for just the density of the foliage here. But standing in the middle of it is an elk. And like the fox, it seems to be awaiting you almost. What do you want to do?
I will approach. Again, like just trying to stay casual, not reaching for weapons, not looking concerned, just taking a few steps forward, and we'll give a small bow.
The elk seems to look you over, and as you get closer, you can see that its antlers are covered in like moss and vines, and it opens its mouth and it speaks. You carry the breath of a withering tree, one whose roots once ran deep in this forest, but they are weak and they are broken. Find them, mend them, so that the debt may be repaid. And I think that is where we will leave it off this time.
Oh boy.
You're tripping so hard, elks are talking to you.
Yeah, you actually, if we like rewound, we'd notice that you accidentally like took a bite of a suspect mushroom soup on your way out.
Was not accidental, but yes, go on.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of The Crit Show. We are playing the Clockwinders. If you are interested in more information about the setting or about the Fate RPG in general, you can find that information in the show notes. You can also find more of the cool stuff we've done on our Patreon at patreon.com/thecritshow. Talking hundreds of hours of bonus content at this point. Access to our Discord, which is the most welcoming one on the internet.
Yeah.
And you can get your name read at the end of an episode, just like David, Chan, and Sabrina. Thank you both for your patronage. And thank all of you for listening. Once again, tune in next time for another episode of Clockwinder Adventures, The Saga Continues. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritshow.